Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on January 5th, 2015, and what can I say? This Raw, this is the feeling I got from Raw. Storyline-wise, it literally went nowhere in every facet. There were some good portions of Raw. It wasn't in the terms of storyline building. It was more in the terms of matches. I mean, at least at the beginning of the show, it looked like they were building at least something interesting with the Authority coming in and punishing Team Cena and calling it Cena Appreciation Night, and it seemed like that could have been semi-interesting to see how long they go along with that and everything, and how far they would go to punish the other members of Team Cena. They put like Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback into match situations that were in, of course, unfavorable conditions. It was at least an interesting and decent storyline. I'll get to the ending point which made it feel like they went literally nowhere. Initially it was interesting. But the only really good part at the end of the night, really the only good parts of Raw were some of the matches, which the Dolph Ziggler Wade Barrett match, that was, or not Wade, well, I can't really say Wade Barrett, but Bad News Barrett with the Intercontinental title. I don't know if I really like the title switch again. I mean, it works off well with them trying to punish Dolph Ziggler, everything like that, with the Authority coming back in, so it kind of works, but again, it falls under the aspect of, back at TLC, my same feeling that they need to get that Intercontinental title and keep it on somebody for a while. And I don't mean just for like 3 months or something like that. I mean like a 6-month reign. Something in that sense is what I would like to see. But that's me personally. But that match was entertaining. The Ryback, Seth Rollins and Kane match, that was actually somewhat entertaining. And at that time they looked like they were keeping Ryback strong, though, even at that time as well. It was weird, the fact that Rusev never got involved in any way, shape, or form in that match. Again, I'll explain towards the end. The ambulance match with Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt was a very entertaining one, and probably a good way to finally blow off this feud. You might get one more spot with it at the Royal Rumble, where you'll probably see Dean Ambrose come back in while Bray Wyatt's inside the ring there, so you'll get at least one more thing from that, more than likely. But this felt like a very good ending to the feud, and hopefully after the Rumble the two of them will break off. The bad portions of Raw, pretty much everything else. And the biggest problem I've seen with Raw recently is, at least over the last couple weeks, and I find this to be a problem, they begin the show talking, which in a sense is okay, because you gotta try to build up the storylines for the night and everything like that. I get the whole promo at the beginning of the show, but they end the night on a talking segment in another promo. Like last week they ended on a promo, this week they ended on a promo. I forget some of the other weeks in there. I think they ended with matches, but they might have ended with promos, but I don't remember. But over the last couple weeks I felt like Raw's been lacking, because they begin and they end in a promo form. I would more or less like to see them, if they're going to do something promo-wise, like long, begin the show with promo, end the show with action. But they don't necessarily do that in this case. Oh, I forgot at least the other fun part of the show. I like the Cesaro and Tyson Kidd run-in during Big E's match with Adam Rose there, looking like they're going to start at least a small sub-storyline with the New Day and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. That could be actually interesting. It should at least lead to some very entertaining matches in some way. But the fact that they dressed up as Rosebuds and then attacked them during the match, that was actually semi-interesting. Then considering the rest of the show, how the rest of the show was going, something like that does seem interesting. But back on track to where I was on track to where I was going. Other bad things I just felt about the show: how much they're dragging on this Big Show and Roman Reigns feud with just DQ matches right now. It's just getting to the point. It's like, either announce the match for the Royal Rumble, or I don't know, just let one of them finally go over in a match, and then you have something in the actual Rumble match between the two of them. They need to go somewhere more with this instead of just DQN, 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 DQN type everything in that sense. Not so bad. Kind of okay. The whole aspect that they're using how the current storylines on Total Divas are going to intertwine them into their Raw feuds at this time, and that's probably their answer to the whole aspect of them, how they film Total Divas and everything like that, is to start intertwining them into the actual feuds. Not necessarily the best thing, but at least it somewhat works. And will at least keep it congruent to what's happening over on the reality show as well. So they had Paige interact with Natalya, and they apparently did that on the Total Divas show. And now they're together with on the Raw feud, and now Paige is interjecting into a potential what would look like to be a potential triple threat between Natalya, Paige, and Nikki for the title whenever they decide to go with that one. Okay, nothing special, but honestly, with the way the rest of the show went, probably not the worst thing that was there. And this brings me to to the final portion of the show, which was the whole John Cena appreciation thing. And this is where I said, basically, storyline-wise, this show literally went nowhere. Like I said before, you started out at least semi-interesting with the whole aspect, okay, the Authority's back, how are they going to punish teams? The Team Cena people from Survivor Series, how are they going to get back at Rowan, and how are they going to get back at Ryback and Ziggler? And you saw that throughout the show. And then they decided to pull the whole aspect, they come out there, doing their normal shtick of being like, very condescending, being very over the top with everything, you can tell they're being disingenuous, the Cena and everything like that. So you get that feeling from the characters there. But then they decide to go the route of bringing out Rowan, Ziggler, and Ryback, and, they build it up, and then it's like, okay, we're just going to fire you. Alright, so storyline-wise, you're literally going nowhere, because we all know how this is going to end. Especially with how Ryback's feud was going with Rusev's, though they're going to have to go off of that at some point in time. And it just came off like, we know exactly what's going to happen here. It's just a matter of what they're going to do. It basically is going to lead to Cena doing something crazily heroic to get all three of them their jobs back, and then, everything's happy-go-lucky again. Whether they decide to do it where Cena has to win some match that is absolutely absurd to actually pull it, to actually get them back, or if he has to give up his title match at the Rumble or something in that sense. I don't know what they're going to do, but storyline-wise, it was just stupid. You know where this is going to end, and it just didn't come off good at all throughout the entire show. So, overall, this show sucked. There was a couple good matches in there. Storyline-wise, the show was bad. It just literally was. You had a couple little interesting things in there, like with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd with the New Day, but in the end, major storyline-wise, it was complete crap. Especially with the whole aspect that at the beginning of the show, they make the whole triple threat match they make the Brock Lesnar John Cena match now a triple threat, adding Seth Rollins. Why in that sense, or at least somewhere down the road, maybe with the next week's show they'll actually do that. But you need like a rebuttal from Paul Heyman in some way, shape, or form now, because obviously they weren't expecting something like that. So they need to add that into the storyline mix, and we'll see where they actually go with it. But this week just didn't really come off all that good. But I mean, there's chances of fixing it, and like I said before, the way the show ended, you know where that storyline's going to go, and there's no real surprises there in any way, shape, or form. So, like I said before, I did not like this week's Raw. But mainly on the the terms of their aspect of beginning the show with a promo, ending the show with a promo. That was just a bad way of going as well. So that's my review this week for Monday Night Raw, and I thank you guys for watching.